Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I like over on Prizepicks for the Week 9 Thursday Night Football game between the Texans and the Jets. This is not the most exciting primetime game, guys, but I did still want to come on and give you some player props I do like for this game. We got two plays that we're going to break down that we're going to share in this video, and as always, we're going to talk through these plays, share why I like them. Now, before we do get started, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. If you do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And also, if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, be sure to sign up, use promo code NOAH, and when you place your first lineup, you'll get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account. So you place that lineup, doesn't matter if you win or lose, Prizepicks is going to give you $50 in promo funds that you can use towards additional lineups, and then if you win any money off those, that's money that you can then withdraw if you choose to do so. But make sure that when you sign up for Prizepicks, you do use that promo code NOAH. And also, we do have a partnership with Sleeper, so I do want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper. You guys can sign up for Sleeper as well. Use promo code NOAH over there. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. You put in $100, Sleeper will match that. They'll give you an additional $100 to play with. And for those of you that don't know what Sleeper is, they're a DFS pick'em app, very similar to Prizepicks, where it's just you're picking more or less on player projections. You build out your entry. You can make up to an 8-pick entry on Sleeper. You can win up to 100x your money. So go check them out, guys. Download the Sleeper app and make sure that when you sign up, use code NOAH, so that way you do get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, we got two props to talk about for Thursday Night Football, Week 9, Jets and Texans. Again, not the most exciting game, but I still wanted to give you guys a couple plays I did like for this one. So let's go ahead and talk through them. So the first prop that I do like for this game is going to be a fantasy score. And I'm liking Davante Adams for more than 12.5 fantasy score. Now, Davante Adams has not had the greatest start with the Jets. You look at his 2 games with the Jets, he has gone under this fantasy score line in both games. Had 6 fantasy points against Pittsburgh, tough matchup. Had 9.4 fantasy points against New England, not the greatest matchup either. Well, now he faces the Texans, who have become a much better defensive team. But the way you beat this Texans team is through the air. The Texans have been very good against the run this season. They've been a lot more, vulnerable through the air, and they're actually giving up the 6th most fantasy points per game to the wide receiver position. And without Allen Lazard, who's out again this week, we're going to see the targets, target share in this offense very concentrated around Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson. I mean, those should be the guys getting a lot of the volume from Aaron Rodgers. We know Aaron Rodgers loves to target Davante Adams. And you look at what Adams has done in these 2 games. Obviously, the box score doesn't look very good, but he's still getting good volume. He did have 9 targets in the game against Pittsburgh. He had 6 targets in the game against New England. And the Jets' offense has not really looked that great the last 2 weeks. This is, I think, a spot where maybe they can look at play a little bit better at home, facing a team that is much more beatable through the air. So I do like the Jets to put up some points here. I know this game does kind of have a lower total, but I think Aaron Rodgers is set up to do well in this matchup. Just, if his offensive line can hold up for him, that's been kind of the big issue. Rodgers really not mobile anymore, can't move out of the pocket. So, his offensive line is going to have to give him some time to throw. But even if Rodgers doesn't have a ton of time to throw, we know he can throw it out quick. He can drop back and, find his guys quickly. And he loves to target Davante Adams, especially on those quick slant routes. And Adams is a guy that typically has been kind of a PPR guy. Like, he can rack up a bunch of receptions. And obviously for Prizepicks fantasy score, it's huge when you can get a receiver that can catch 6, 7, 8 balls, which Davante Adams can do. I mean, he hasn't done it yet. He only had 3 and 4 receptions in his 2 games with the Jets. But you date back to when him and Rodgers played together on the Packers. I mean, Adams was getting double-digit targets, 7, 8 receptions almost on a weekly basis. I know he's competing with Garrett Wilson for targets in this offense. But outside of Garrett Wilson, there's not a lot of other guys that really get much volume in this pass game. I mean, you'll see Breece Hall get some targets. Tyler Conklin will get a little bit of volume, but I mean, Mike Williams has had a tough time earning targets. The rest of their wide receivers are not guys that really get much volume. Xavier Gibson, not a guy that really demands a big target share. So expecting a big-time role here for Davante Adams. He's going to be on the field for 90+% of the snaps. I think it's a decent matchup as well against a Texans team that has been much more beatable through the air. And I like to compare fantasy point projections kind of from around the industry back to Prizepicks. And the fantasy point projections that I look at, they do have Davante Adams projected for about 14.5 fantasy points. So they're 2 points higher than what Prizepicks is. I think at 12.5, I do like this over quite a bit. I think it's also a pretty decent spot for Garrett Wilson as well, but I do like Devonta Adams here at 12.5 fantasy points. Going to take him for more than 12.5 fantasy points. So that's the first pick that I do like for Thursday night. And then the other pick that I like on the other side of the game, Texans side, we're going to take a look at a receptions prop. And the receptions prop I like here is Tank Dell for more than 4.5 receptions. I was honestly surprised to see this line at 4.5. I definitely thought this line would be, if it was at 4.5, I thought it would be pretty heavily juiced towards the over, if not at 5.5. Maybe the books are a little skeptical on the Texans being able to do much through the air in this game because they're going to be without their top 2 wide receivers, no Stephon Diggs, no Nico Collins. But if they're even able to move the ball down the field through the air, you would think that's going to be because of C.J. Stroud connecting with Tank Dell, who is going to be his top receiver in this game. And Tank Dell should be looking at a ton of volume here. Now, last season, we did see Tank Dell play one game without Nico Collins, and obviously Stephon Diggs was not on the team last season. It's a one-game sample, so I don't want to overreact, but in one game last year against the Bengals without Nico Collins, Tank Dell saw 14 targets, had 6 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown on 14 targets. Am I expecting 14 targets for Tank Dell tonight? Obviously not. But I definitely think 7, 8 targets is easily in his range of outcomes. His targets prop on Prizepicks is set at 7, and honestly, I do kind of like the over on that as well. But Tank Dell has been a little bit, he's been a lower ADOT receiver this season. Like, he's been running a lot of shorter routes this year. His ADOT, I believe, is, let's see, it's only like 9.5 yards. Like, he's been running a lot of shorter routes. He's not been running a bunch of deep routes down the field. And when you're betting on a receptions prop, when you're taking an over on a receptions prop, I mean, you want guys that run short, quick routes because it's a lot easier to catch a slant than it is to catch a vertical deep shot. And Tank Dell's running a lot of quicker, shorter routes this season, which he should be able to get some easy receptions off those. And the volume should definitely be there. I mean, you look at the other pass catchers on this Texans team, and there's just not a lot of guys that are going to get a bunch of volume in the passing game, or at least we don't expect to get much volume. Dalton Schultz is probably going to be the second top target for C.J. Stroud. You'll definitely see Joe Mixon use some in the passing game as well. But outside of those 3 guys, you've got like John Mechie, Steven Sims, Robert Woods. I mean, Robert Woods at this point in his career is just, not a guy that's going to earn a bunch of volume. John Mechie was kind of someone that a lot of people had high hopes for in the NFL, but he hasn't really turned into much so far this NFL season. Last season, he didn't really do much with the Texans. He's just not been a guy that's really been able to earn many targets in the NFL. And Xavier Hutchinson, like another guy that has just not been able to get a bunch of volume. He's not been a high target earner. But we've seen in the past, Tank Dell is someone that can go out there and get 10, 11, 12 targets, especially when he's the clear top wide receiver, which should be the case on Thursday night. Now, the matchup against the Jets, probably not the best. I mean, the Jets do have a very good secondary, but I don't know if you'll see Tank Dell like shadowed by Sauce Gardner or any other cornerbacks. I think Tank Dell's one of these guys that can kind of move all over the field. He can play like out wide. He can play in the slot. Either way, he should definitely be in line to get a lot of volume here as C.J. Stroud's top target, and I do like him for more than 4.5 receptions. I also don't mind taking more than 7 targets, but I think if Tank Dell gets 7 or more targets, he probably gets 5 receptions too. But if there's definitely a scenario where maybe they just aren't connecting, but he's still getting the volume. It's kind of up to you which prop you want to take. I do like both these props on Tank Dell, but personally, I'm going to be taking more than 4.5 receptions. So these are 2 props, guys, that I do like for the Thursday Night Football game for Week 9, Jets and Texans. Not the most exciting game, I'll be honest, but still wanted to give you guys some player props I did like. I know a lot of you guys like to place lineups for the primetime games. I'm going to be watching this game. I'm going to be sweating out some props, so figured I'd give you guys a couple plays I liked. If you want to tell, feel free to do so. But hopefully we can hit both these plays and make some money on this Thursday Night Football game. So, as always, guys, appreciate you watching these Prizepicks videos. Supporting the Prizepicks content, make sure you hit that like button down below if you did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And also, guys, if you don't have an account on Prizepicks, use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up. And when you place your first lineup, you'll instantly get $50 in promo funds added to your account. So go check out Prizepicks if you have not yet. But good luck this Thursday night, guys. Best of luck, and we'll see you in the next video.